Okay. I'm just going to get started here, guys. So if you come in later and you wonder what's going on, you'll be able to see. It's a US allied, US European turn. I probably should not talk with my mouth full. So I'm just going to move units, and then when we get a few people in, we'll do a recap of where we're at. And I'll try and finish eating this food before then. Okay. I'm really kind of screwed over here. Hey gang, well that was quick. You guys rolled in here like you're rolling hot. Welcome, welcome. Say hi. I gotta put some air on. Didn't even get a chance to finish my my glass of milk and my cookie before you guys all turned up. Good morning, John. Hey, Devin, what's going on, man? I'm just eating since it's guys we know. I'm gonna finish my cookie and my glass of milk. Love the weekend. I'm loving this long weekend. I slept till 8:30 this morning. No conference calls. My Mondays are usually back-to-back calls from 8:30 till about 1 p.m. So it was awesome just not to have anything this morning. I'm gonna keep moving. I've discovered a couple of things with the game that I probably need to share that are more noteworthy than anything else. It's not some crashingly important observation. There's got to be a river hex here somewhere. I can't see shit. I did the Chinese turn. I'll talk about that in a minute, and I just want to move the Europeans. It looks like I lost. Everybody. Hopefully, that was not something I said. All right. Okay, the milk's done. The Anzac cookie's almost done. I am up to here with movement. Let's recap real quick. Oh, did it really? Oh yeah, I'm sorry about that. The Russian wishes not to see you see what is happening next, because it's going to be very painful for you. Here's the deal. Very interesting. The Russians got their replacements last turn, and I think if you recall, at the end of turn 5, if you were watching, I was thinking how the Russians could, rebuilt their line and things were looking okay. It looks like we're getting people dropped on and off or whatever. We'll just keep going. And the Russian reinforcements are actually pretty hefty. It's 3 armored divisions and 6 mechanized divisions are replaced, and then 4 infantry things or whatever. And then there's a bunch of aircraft. They have almost all their aircraft back. And these 2 stacks here represent the majority of the replacements. There's some more there. And that is now going to tip the balance against the European-US alliance. It's clear weather now, not rain, and it's actually cloudy, but whatever, which is just going to interfere with air. And all units are all weather, basically, I think, in the advanced game, or it's the other way around, I don't know. We're not really using air very much in this game because we've kind of worked out that if there are a lot of fighters in the area, you don't want to use air because it gives the fighters an opportunity to really either A, knock out stuff, or B, reinforce the, it gives them a chance to knock out stuff, basically. So if you can't make a decent attack, it's probably not worthwhile trying to enhance it with air, because you then have the unknown of what comes with the fighters. It's a little bit of a hairball the way the air war works, and I'm imposing some rules on the game in terms of the number of air units that can be allocated to an attack. You can basically allocate as much as you want. I could put anything that could reach, if this hex was being attacked, any American air could be allocated to that, and any number of fighters or fighter bombers could be allocated to the defense of that. And it's kind of inconceivable to me that there are limits on everything else in the game except for air. That seems kind of dorky. And there's no defensive air, which is dorky. So everyone that said there was a problem with the air war, they're right. There is, but I think if you use it selectively, if you have air where the other guy doesn't, then it's of value to you, and you can it can be a force multiplier. But otherwise, you put yourself at more risk than less by using air when the enemy has a surplus of fighters available to interdict your stuff, because you can't really do a lot of air-to-air combat to try and gain air superiority in the game. So it's not Third World War, and that's what we tend to equate it to, because we've all played a lot of Third World War stuff. This game was probably fantastic for its time, but then Frank Chadwick's game came out, so now everyone wants it to be like that. I understand where this game's coming from. I don't need to change it. I've chosen to change it because I think it's stupid to put 22 counters in one hex. That's just dumb, and I'm not going to play that way. So, that said, this massive whack of extra reinforcements have kind of rebuilt in here around Moscow, in here around the kind of Tula, Kharkov area. Here's Kharkov here, actually. So just behind the lines here a little bit. We kind of pulled back behind the line. They've got 9, 10, 11, 12 divisions kind of hanging out, waiting to do some damage. And unfortunately, they have lost, the Soviets, they've only lost 2 or 1 cruise missile unit. They need another cruise missile unit down here at some point, but they're ready to potentially go on the offensive. So as the U.S. forces, I'm trying to build a defensive line, because remember, I've got now 7 armored divisions out of the game, and that is a lot of firepower and a lot of defensive firepower that I have no punch left in my army. So we need to kind of consolidate, which is what I'm doing. And I'm moving these cruise missile units back out of the way because they are just the gems of the game. And I'm actually going to put that in this city here. We're going to pull these guys up, 1, 2, 3. I've got a phone call coming in. Goodbye. 4, 5, 6 to there. So that's kind of a weak hex right there. we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to there, and in the mech phase we'll get into here, but we'll leave it there for now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Actually, these guys will get up here as well. Put all these dudes here, and this dude back here. Oh, we didn't place these last turn. They need to go into cities. All right. And now I've got to move this this swag of forces down here, and the Turks and whatnot. Yeah, it does have some wild swings. It's and I don't know that it's swings per se. It's two things, maybe three things. The first thing was as we get into the game, the replacements start to ramp up. So, you know, if you're getting 9 good units back every turn, and your enemy is only getting back 5, I think it is. US gets, I keep forgetting, 1, 3 good units back a turn, plus 3 infantry. That's going to hurt. Now, the US and the Allies do get more air back, but the air is not working out the way it should in when I say in parentheses, right? Parentheses with real world. So there's that factor. So the weight of replacement is pretty significant. Now, all of that assumes, you know, if you look at this geopolitically, all this assumes that the Russians have the capacity to rebuild all this stuff themselves from their own resource centers and all that sort of good stuff, you know, back in the boonies and the Urals and whatnot, which is, you know, there's no Lend-Lease program going on here, right? And then the US, I feel like the US could produce more units, more armor, perhaps later in the game or something like that, assuming that this was a premeditated event, which it was. They would have been gearing up to be able to manufacture more armor. And I think that's kind of a play balance thing that's been you're stuck with, and it probably doesn't sit well with me. I think the Europeans certainly couldn't pick up as much, build as much stuff. So yeah, I maybe want to see European reinforcements kind of played out a little bit differently, and then the US ramped up. US gets, as I said, lots of air. Obviously, they could put a lot of infantry in. Funnily enough, not a lot of infantry units in, well, they're mechanized, I guess. Mechanized infantry, there's quite a few, so I'll take that back. And the second thing or third thing? Second thing, 3 exchanges in one turn for the US, which blew them up. You know, 3 big attacks. The attacker loses all its forces relative to the defender. The defender was, you know, had a lot of 2 personnel point units, so that was nasty, and it hurt the US pretty badly. Now, I will say that there was probably a point in turn 3 where if I had been a little more aggressive, I might have been able to do some more damage as the US player. But because there's no pocketing, there's no value in pocketing, or the pocketing that you can do is incredibly difficult. You have to cover every hex, not just zones of control, but every hex. There's no point trying to pocket. You really just got to kill units. So the point is, can you kill? What you have to do is kill more than the replacement rate. And that's effectively 9 units a turn. That's 2 1/4 stacks of units a turn. That's a lot to do. So I'm going to guess that you know, we'll see what happens with the Soviet turn this turn, but I'm going to probably assume the offensive as the Soviets see how we do for a turn or 2, and then I think this will just bog down into a stalemate somewhere along a river line until such time as the 7 armored divisions are replaced and the punching power is back in the game. Keep in mind too that there's this heavy weight of units here at the expense of, you know, the Chinese. The Chinese are having a field day up there. They're actually trying to clean up the house down there and take all of the major city hexes. So here on this map, this section of the map, just here. These ones don't really count so much. I kind of screwed up. I was thinking this was the edge of the map, but the edge of the map's over here. I need to get that city there. And then that one in the middle there. So once the Chinese grab those two, this one here, then they can focus their effort on this side of the map, where the Chinese, also with a very high replacement rate, have rebuilt almost their entire army by maybe 3 divisions or 4 divisions. So they've built a nice defensive perimeter. The Russians have pulled back because they lost a lot of units in their attacks over here. They tried to be aggressive, and they have now pulled back into defensive mode, and they received a very slim amount of reinforcements in turn 5, and they're bracing themselves for a counteroffensive. They actually don't have enough units to defend the line. These friggin' weak-ass Chinese units don't need combat supply or movement supply. They're pretty much self-sustaining. So they can wander through this wilderness here and then try and pop out and break lines of supply, isolate units and attack them. Like this cruise missile unit, it's in trouble if it doesn't move. So that would allow us to kind of move in around this way. We need that city, 2 here, 1 there to win the game, and I think there's 1 in there as well. So, so to thwart that, what the US is doing, because they don't want the Chinese to win, they're sending their hovercraft units in to capture this city here. They're going to try and do that, and we're going to try and move some armor across. There's a way to move units here. It's 4 movement points there. So they're going to try and come across there and attack this city, capture it from the Russians. You can't attack the Chinese, you can't attack your ally. That's what I did the other turn. I got all excited about invading South Korea. That's a no-no. So, yeah, there's that. So that could be interesting. So the Russians are under pressure here, but they're rebuilding and defending quite well down here. And I think really all they need to do is establish a stalemate on this map. They don't need, their job is to not lose. They've got to keep more than 40 units on the map and more than 40 urban centers under their control. Now, sadly, I don't know how many urban centers are on these 2 maps, so we're going to have to do a little bit of math in a little while just to work out what the hell's going on. Because I know I've got more than 40 units there, but I don't know that I have 40 urban centers. I'm going to guess, based on what's on the map, that we're still okay. Okay, so I was over here moving allies. By the way, the weather's cloudy. I think I mentioned that. So that's kind of a recap. Let's keep moving, and I want to pull this cruise missile unit out of trouble back to here. And so see, in Kursk here, I'll be doubled. That's 10. That's at 20 factors. So, but to support that, I'm going to bring the airborne units up here. And what I need is some weaker, see these, when we get exchanges, I want to be able to lose a 3 personnel factor unit instead of an armored unit, which is what was happening in those attacks. So I need to kind of jiggle the force mix here, which we're going to do 1, 2 to there. And I'm going to put these 2 guys here, 2 armored units. And then I'm going to put this guy, just going to put an infantry unit in each one of these hexes, and either a mechanized or an armored unit. Let's put this guy here. And the Soviets will be halved coming across the river. Yeah, see, we're going to do that here. We're going to step back behind the river though. And we'll create a 3rd stack there. And support that unit just in case. Pull this cruise missile unit back to here and put this dude. He's got two 865s and a 334. I might have enough to make a line here like so. There's a doubled city. Another cruise missile unit. I'm going to pull that dude back to there. Okay, stick a Turk down in here. Not too. I guess we need to stick that guy up one. So it's going to become a bit of a. I think it's going to be a bit of a stalemate unless the Soviets can do something over on this side of the map. It's a little bit iffy. I'm going to actually pull back. Oh no, I got to stay there. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh no, we're outside that zone. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to there. These guys will go to here. And we're just going to create a separate defensive zone back here with the Turks. The Turks will get some reinforcements this turn. They're going to pull back to here. They're doubled in this defensive, in this city, in Grozny. Their fighters. Ooh, there's not a lot of units here. Now, there's no negative. Turkey doesn't get taken out of the war in any way, shape, or form. I know I've got an exposed flank here, but there's nowhere for them to go. I guess they could go through Sevastopol. Maybe I need to rethink that defense. Maybe we do need to come back here like this. Yeah. I need more units, and I ain't got none. I ain't got none yet. So there's that. I've got units that came in last turn up here. We should push these guys up. That'll allow us to shuffle forces down a little bit. I'll do that next turn because I don't want to get too out of whack here. I'll put these guys up here, and we'll pull these dudes out and back there. Okay. So that is. Let me see. We've still got the Iranians. We can crank on a little bit here. It's really muggy in this room right now. I'm not sure. I think the Iranians want to finish off these couple of units here. This might be my last great hope here for the Americans, just to start cleaning up some stuff in the south. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Shit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to there. Okay, that'll work. So. Boom. I've got to cover every hex. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. I'll just do this. These guys will now be halved when they're attacked, and this will count another victory point hex. In the meantime, we're going to push the US Marines and 2 divisions into the heartland of Russia. They're going to need this as a supply line though, so they're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to there. And I'm going to keep 1 unit right here to protect the supply line. Okay, so that's an attack that's going to happen. That's the only attack that the Allies are doing this turn. And I think that's it. So, no interception because there's no air. Actually, I see no here. What's the range of those fighter bombers? 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So they're in range. So if I wanted to use fighter bombers, they would bring their fighters or fighter bombers into the attack, and they would have an attack. That would be a really bad idea for them to do that, because the air-to-air rating on these fighter bombers is only 5, and my rating is 8. And while the Soviet fighters are 8, so they're a little bit better. So it'll all be 1-to-1 attacks. I don't want to lose this air right now that I have just down here. So let's resolve this combat real quick. Yeah, so Kyle, that's the question. Once I get rid of those Soviets, I'm going to drive this way. I want to try and take all of these towns that I can on this map here, and then once they're captured and garrisoned with some Iranian units, then I can start moving up this way, and then maybe I can get to that 40 urban centers controlled, but also start impacting the supply and combat supply capabilities of the Soviets and weaken them that way. That's kind of my thinking at the moment. And in fact, I need to check my where units can go as reinforcements and see if the Europeans can come in down here as well, and maybe do a thrust up this way. That might be kind of cool. But in the meantime, that's a ways away, right? That's going to be 3 or 4 turns, and who knows if we'll last that long. Because we got this kind of stalemate that is going to evolve here with 2 very heavily defended lines. All right, let's knock this attack out here real quick. I got, it's not in a city. Super. Okay, so that's just 4 factors, halved. All that for nothing. I could have just attacked it. I thought there was a city here. There's one there. Well, fuck it. Okay, so that's going to be 10 to 1. I got 4 there. They're halved. So 6, 12, 18, 20. That's more than 10 to 1. They're going to die on a 10 to 1 attack because it's all DE. Don't even know why it exists. Should just be an auto victory. So I can advance after combat. We'll do that. Let's just actually do this. And all these other guys basically have to stay where they are. You can only advance. Funnily enough, it says you're eliminated. You can advance after combat into the hex. And if it's a retreat, and it's 2 hex retreat, you can follow the retreat path. But if it's if you're eliminated completely, you can't advance 2 hexes or anything like that. So that's another tweak. Now, I forgot to move this guy. Well, like it doesn't really matter. Okay, so now there's a reaction move phase for the Soviets. All units within 5 hexes of an enemy unit of the facing player can move. I've got my move coming up. I'm not really too worried about moving units since I know I can't be attacked again this turn, but I will just pop these guys over the line here, and these guys, they're in a city, so they'll stay there. But basically, the Soviets are pretty happy with this defense at the moment. They're a little worried about what's going on that way, and we'll do something about that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So these guys could move half their movement rate, for instance. So I can move them 3 hexes and get them on the way. 1, 2, 3. And we'll do that. Their other alternative is they can try and develop an attack here. But once again, you're not going anywhere unless you can get around the corner through Krasnodar, through Sevastopol. If you can go through that way. And you know what? I just realized something. I probably have not moved a unit through Sevastopol to officially capture it. There's no way to keep track of that. There's no way to keep track of our supply units either. I'm going to have to pull one of these 334s, and let's just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to there, 6 to there. Okay, so that's all now US controlled. 7. Then it'll be the 7th movement point. Okay. All right. Sorry, guys. Camera fail. I need to adjust the seat of the camera. All right. Right. Hasn't it either been drained or it's evaporated or something like that? I was just reading about that the other day. Okay. Where did they get to? Reaction move, not going to do it. So now we have the mechanized thingamajig move, exploit move. None of those guys can do it, but these guys can. Half their movement. 1, 2, 3. They're on the road. 1, 2. That's as far as they can go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. They'll stack up, and they'll stack up. You know what? Someone has to stay behind because we have enemies coming from the left flank or from the north, as the case may be. What I hope to do here is bring additional replacements in this direction here, and I probably should check that. I'll do that at the end of the turn. I'll check the rules on that. Hey Brad, what's going on, man? They dried it up? Wow. Impressive. Okay. Go big or go home. That's what the Ruskies do. Okay, end of US turn. Reinforcement time. Replacement time. 2 armored units. No. I said 1, right? 1 armored. I think 3 mech. Is that right? Or 4 mech? Wish I could remember this shit. I had it written down here somewhere. 1 armored, 2 mech, 3 infantry. 2 mech. I'm going to get the Iranian mech, and I'm going to pull. I need to check the deployment. Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is it here, 7. Okay. These are mech unit. Oh, these are better. Yay! Yay for me. I'll take these guys. 1, 2, 3. No infantry left to take, so we're going to take those guys. Now let's see if I can actually deploy them over here. There's a table here somewhere. National policy chart. Europe, USSR, and Iran. Sweet, baby Jesus. Okay, so we're bringing these forces in here. Friendly city, that'll be that. So we now have 3 European divisions. That's epic. That means this guy can actually move up here, and we're going to do that. All right. One way to win a war is to open up a new front, and it looks like we just did. So next turn, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to keep bringing forces in through here, and that's going to thin this out. Soviets are going to be back under pressure. We're back in the game, maybe. And the other thing that's I must admit that is hampering, and I'm getting very close to caving on it, is the Israelis. I've got these Israeli forces here. Look at those 10-10 armored divisions and the cruise missiles and the fighter bombers. Ooh, baby. I'm still having a hard time reconciling letting them fight with the Iranians, even though that was. I really don't think that was historically going to be possible, even back when the Shah was in charge. But it's sticking in my craw, so I'm trying to do without them. I may relent and bring them in. Depends how bad I want to beat the Soviet army, right? I think they can fight pretty much anywhere as well, except China. I'm just clicking these guys real quick. There we go. I missed that corner there. Yeah, so let's see. It's a Soviet turn. Soviet strat move, huh? Strat move, huh? Let's do some rail movement. I'm just looking at the board and I'm thinking I might be able to put a little surprise in to the over-eager little US-European Iranian alliance. Let's see if we can't strat move some dudes into the danger zone. I'm almost done here. You guys having a great time watching me clip counters? I know. I'm almost done. My little OCD just kicked in for a second there. Okay, here we go. Good. Rail. It's a bunch of hexes. Distance. This is going to be fine because that's 38 down to 9 to there. So that's going to be 20 and change. And down to here is not going to be more than 75 hexes. So we're going to rail all these boys right to here. I'm going to take these, where'd the other guys go? These boys, oh, they're not on a rail hex. Shit. Okay. All right, fine. I'm going to strap move some air. It's got to be an airfield here somewhere. Boom. Boom. And I'm going to strap move this air down to here. Replace it. I'm going to take 2 of these divisions as well and put them down here. 1 here, 1 there. Okay. Surprise! I'm going to bring, so now it's the movement phase. I'm going to move these guys, the hovercraft guys go across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. These guys come. Now, I'm going to keep in mind, we've got to stay within, here's the supply challenge for these guys actually. It's 5 hexes to a rail. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he's going to be out of supply next turn for movement and combat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here, and here's a rail here. So I really need to get to a railhead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we'll just pop up to there, get on the rail. That'll be the fastest way to do that. I'm going to have to leave something down this end of the battle. No, maybe I can cover it with these guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Remember, you get that extra movement, 3 extra movement points if you're if you don't start or end in a Zoc. Okay, now these guys are going to move. And they are going to, the first thing they're going to do, let's see if they can find a cheap win. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe. Okay, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And these guys will go here. Yeah. Hey Patrick, you taking a break? Where are you working right now? What are you doing? If you don't mind me asking, I'm just curious where are you watching on your phone? I'm curious how people engage with what I do. So if you feel like sharing, do that. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think this guy will go this way. 1, 2. Oh, he can't go that far, stupid. This guy can. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He'll stay here. 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5. You know, one thing I don't want to do, I'm going to pull this one guy back to here. I don't want to get my supply line cut. So I've had enough of that for one game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to push these guys down a little bit. All right. Okay, we've moved those guys. We've got to come back to come there. Cool. Okay, thanks for sharing, back. All right. Now I've kind of opened myself up to a problem here where the glare is. Let me see if I can change the angle. There you go. Since we've left 3, 6, 9 weak ass Turkish units divisions down here with a huge gaping entryway. But I think I'm going to start trying to peck at the edge of the US system here. I'm not. I'm going to be patient. This game's a 26-turn game. I don't expect it to last that long. It's only turn 6. I don't need to blow myself up yet. What I can do, look at all this reinforcement. So I got all that stuff to come back yet from the dead pile. If I wait, if I'm patient, if I just hang tough here for a couple of turns, maybe let's get through a winter cycle, I think we can. Why is that stacked so high? I think we can. Yeah, it's got fight, isn't it? That's another rule that it's kind of dumb. Aircraft count towards stacking, and that's another thing that I've chosen to ignore. I'm going to straight move these guys up here out of the way. So we have time is what I'm trying to get to, and I don't think I need to go killing myself to be aggressive on the offense. I'm going to have an advantage at some point. There's another heavy division. Let's move that back and stage it for something sexy. And I'm going to move this guy. I'm going to take one of these guys from here. This 6, 7. Here we go. 2, 3, 4 to there. And yeah, you know what? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to there. We'll kind of defend that thinly. We'll put some reinforcements in here this turn, and I'm going to start skinnying up the defenses here as well, just shuffling some stuff around. So this, you know, I totally don't mind if you guys bail here. I'm only going to do 1 or 2 attacks. I think if this game's going to be played half well, since I'm only, I'm not really doing a very good job here probably. This might be a turn where not a whole lot happens. I'm pulling out my tier 1 armored units and trying to consolidate them into a punching force. So I'm going to put him up there. But I'm really inclined to wait a turn or two and see if I can't build up enough force here to really have a significant offense against the US. Kind of a race against them, getting all their strength back, and them making my life difficult over on the other side of the board. So if you feel like leaving because there's not a lot going on, I totally understand. I've still got units that haven't fought, isn't that funny? That's a city. I think this guy probably should go here because he'll have a defense of probably 5. This is a city. He does not need 3 units in it. I'll pull him out. And he can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have no idea what's any of these. I'm pulling this guy back as well. The only risk I run pulling them back is that they won't be able to be staged to participate in the combat. But I think we'll have a little bit of notice of that. I'm going to stick this guy in here. That's all heavy armor. Look at that, those bad boys. And so we'll put that guy there. So there's 3 5s there. And a 7. Let's put 4 5s there. Once again, another stack ready to engage in combat. And up around Moscow. You bastard. Okay, up around Moscow. I'm pretty sure these were supposed to be flipped because they were replacements. So I've got 2 larger divisions there. I'm going to pull them out of the line. It's interesting that the US is weaker on each of its flanks. Yeah, fast Heinz. That's what I'm trying to do there. Is see where I can build up some strength, but I think I can thin the line and replace some of it with some of those category 3 and 4 divisions that are sitting off board that will start to come on this turn as replacements. Over here, I've got a double line going here. I probably don't need a double line. So we're going to back into Moscow proper here and look for an opportunity to, I think I moved these from Moscow. Yeah, look, see there's 2 more divisions, 2 more heavy divisions. I'm going to put those guys there. And I'm going to put this guy here on the point. I'd love to attack that hex right there, but we just got to be patient. Yeah, I just got to be patient. So look, there's 8 divisions, 9 divisions ready to roll. plus whatever's on the line. I'm going to stuff this up. I can see it right now. Get in line, boys. Okay. Oh my God. Who said tweezers were any good? Okay, there we go. Don't touch. I can't help myself, can I? Shit. All right. That's that. I'm not touching anything else there. We are going to have to go down the other end of the map and have a look at the Chinese dudes and see what's going on down there. So let's do the combat. Let's finish this turn completely down this end and then move to the Chinese and see what we can do down there. So I've got 3 on defense. I've got 10, 18. That's going to be a 6-1 attack, right? That is probably going to be good unless we roll something shitty like a 6. I nearly knocked the camera over again. That's the 3rd time. There's a 6 for you. Boom, just what you want. I think that might be a D2 though. Yeah, it's a D3. So that I thought it was going to be exchanged. So here we go. 1, 2, 3. Now this is where I could advance 3 hexes if I wanted to, but I don't. I'm just going to do this. Boom. There we go. Now, I guess if I wanted to, we could do that. Actually, would be better. 1, 2. We can ignore the zone of control there. Okay, now, reaction movement phase down on this end of the map. These guys can all reaction move and move half their movement points. And they are looking at the situation going, that's not what we had in mind. None of these are mechanized. These are all mechanized. We're going to take 2 units. Go 1, 2, 3. Actually, might take 2 units, 3 units, 4 units down to here. And these guys are within 5. They're going to go 1, 2, 3. Can I get into that hex? 1, 2. I can't. 3 to there. These guys can 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These guys can move. 1, 2, 3. 3. Yes. All right. Over here, the US could probably use a little extra love because I forgot to do my movement here. That is a relatively weak hex, I think. Yes. Well, 6 of one, half dozen the other. We'll put that guy there. Actually, maybe we'll put him here. Since he's on the pointy end. I'm just going to pile these 2 guys up here. Okay. Very defensive for this turn. All right. Yeah, it is starting to feel a little bit like World War II there, isn't it? But I think things will pick up in the next turn or two once the Soviets go through their activities here. Let's head down to the middle of the map and check out this annoying swag of Chinese People's Republic of China. Who every time I think I've got them sorted out, manage to do something annoying. This is the city they want, and I'm inclined to ignore everything else and just defend that city. So let's do that properly by moving to there. Oh, they can't go in a broken because they're hovercraft. So we'll take this guy 1, 2, 3, 4 to there, 5. And he'll go here. And these guys will back over the line. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, you want to come take this stuff? Come take it. I'm going to move this aircraft. It's a strat move. We'll move it over somewhere down here. And these guys I'm going to give this city up and back out, and they're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 this way, back 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to there. Okay. Up here, really in a difficult situation. Here, about to be encircled. I'm inclined to make them want to fight for this hex. I'm 12 factors in there. They've got probably 20 plus, but maybe not 24, but they do have two cruise missile units. They're pulling out all the stops on me there. While they're fighting up there, they're not fighting down here. So we're just going to leave that unit, and I'm going to try and maybe put one reinforcement in there to help out. Okay, here we're trying to hold the line. That's a bad hex to be trying to hold in because it's clear. That guy's doubled there, he's doubled there, but they're angling to surround me. So we're going to pull this first line division back 1 hex. And this guy's going to go 2, 5 to there, or 4 to there. And this dude will be the shock absorber. Put the cruise missiles on top there as well. There are opportunities to do attacks here, but I've got to be really careful. You know, they're gonna try and surround me with the dinky little infantry units and put the hurt on me. Down in this part of the world, it's a pseudo mess. I'm trying to play defensively. Yeah. Okay. All right. So now I've got the double threat, right? I've got the Japanese threatening here, so I've got to reinforce this hex now. Can't let them capture a city, which means I'm going to have to peel forces off the main line. Probably going to need an armored unit, at least one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to there. I'm going to have to, this is a very strong hex here. I'm going to have to pull one of these guys off here, I think, yeah. Maybe both of those guys. So that's 2 to there, 5 to there. Here I've got an unknown unit and one category 3 mechanized unit, which is pretty average, with a defense of 12 in that hex. The Chinese got ballsy. They could probably get 8, 16, 24. They could get 2-to-1 attack on that. That'd be devastating. So the Chinese now are under a little bit of pressure to advance their plan, because if the Japanese, who are US allies, take one of these cities here, this city here, then the Chinese can't win, because they have to control all of the cities on this map. And if the US allies control them, that doesn't count. The Chinese have to control them. So that's part of the 3-player kind of gambit thing that's going on here. Gets a little complicated. So that is what it is. I'm done with moving here. There's not a lot of mech reaction movement I would want to do, and there's no further exploit movement I need to do. Maybe here, actually, we probably should move some of these guys further this direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to here. We'll move these guys down here so they can stage this way or that way, depending on where the threat comes from. Okay, so now it's reinforcement time. I'm going to dig through some units and see what I can find that's worth anything. These are all 2s, that's a 3. 2. So there's the rest of this air can come back somewhere. So let's go look at the Soviet reinforcements. Okay, so I got 4 5.5s here. We should take those 3, and then these 3, that would be 6. There's 1 armored unit, I need 2 more. Do I have any dead armor? I don't think I do. Nope. Yeah, that's a good one. 2 good ones. 3 good ones. Okay. 2s, 3s, and 4s. So what have I got? The 3s, so we can wait on all them. So I got 6 mech, 3 armored, but we only get 1 because we only have 1 lost. There's a couple more 4s. And I've got 1 infantry unit that I can bring back. Oh, here's a big stack of guys. Hang on. I think these are all, yeah, they're all 3s. And there's no infantry. Okay, so that's my reinforcements. So I think we need to put half of this down on this section of the map, just to shut this bullshit down. And we've got a city here somewhere, here, right here. So now I've dedicated several divisions to that section of the map. I'm going to put 3 more divisions here. And then the balanced 1 armor and 1 infantry, I'm going to stick up in that dinky little town, all the way up here. Where is it? They can go in a zone of control, so that now makes that a defense of 12, 14, 28. I think that'll call an end to expansionist China. So, I don't know. What do you guys think? What should the Soviets be doing now? I'm in 2 minds at the moment about, staging and building up forces, or trying to punch the Americans in the face now, because it could go either way, right? I'm open to suggestions too on that. The Chinese in 1998 are just as awful as they were in 78. They're antagonistic towards the Soviet Union, according to the game, because they sensed an opportunity to take on, regain some territory or gain territory, as the case may be. All right. So once again, a little bit of a long-winded, chatty turn. Not a lot of combat this turn, but we knocked out a full turn in 58 minutes, excluding the Chinese that I did, which took 5 minutes. I didn't do a whole lot. This game's moving along. It's certainly got its ebbs and flows. Weather is starting to play a factor, with it being a rain last turn, cloudy this turn. Who knows what turn 7 will bring? Well, Heinz, that's the thing. Even if I do kill all the Turkish units, and let's say I captured all their cities, it doesn't put them out of the game. I guess if there's no, well, that's something I need to look up. If there's no home city, it just says an urban city. So I would have to look and see where the Turks are allowed to fight, for instance. Let's look at the Turks, okay? Let's see where can they play. Where's T on the chart? Okay. I think Iraq. I think that's okay. Iraqi units, Iran and Turkey units, basically. So I think I can start in Iran as well. So I would kill all the Turkish units. They could still be reconstituted in Iran. Yeah, kind of weird. Okay. I'll have to look that up. All right, guys, that's it. We'll talk to you soon. Appreciate you checking in. Looks like we just had a few people join. Sorry about that. You kind of missed it. Rewind and have a watch. I'll let those that have just joined know that this was not a highly productive. Well, it was a productive turn, but there wasn't a lot of action. So it's not the gripping. This was not Miami Vice tonight. All right, or today. Talk to you guys later on. Hey, no worries, Brad. I'll probably get on a little bit later on today. You may play again. Talk to you soon.